Now, as you can see here...
I mean, if you have women like this, pickings are slim for the men as well, let's be honest. Apparently, Madame Shoe has come out with a new video. Obviously, we have to watch it. Hello, YouTube! Meow dee! Come join us on Twitch. And don't fluff them, okay? Twitch really wants to fluff you. You definitely should come to Twitch.
Hello again, friends. Sorry I've been gone for quite a bit. Hopefully nothing too crazy happened. I feel like every time I take a break, like, a war breaks out or something, but thankfully that did not happen.
What happened?
But at least we found out the real Epstein files were the friends we made along the way.
Epstein client list doesn't exist. Justice Department says walking back theory Bondi had promoted. What? No way!
Welcome back to the
literal
Shoe0nHead
war
channel.
broke
If it is
out.
your first time here, run. I am Shoe0nHead, and on this channel I like to cover cultural issues, mostly surrounding men's issues. It's what I've been doing for
let me
over a
hold you.
decade, and frankly, I'm exhausted. Many of you have been along for the ride, and you have seen me go from a chipper, lively 24-year-old making fun of BuzzFeed and Tumblr feminists to a bitter,
God.
calloused 34-year-old talking about very real
Wait! She hasn't aged a day!
and growing men's issues. One of the main men's issues I have been covering in great detail lately has been the male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, but turns out I was wrong. We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic. It's not a male loneliness epidemic. No, it's a male mediocrity epidemic.
What?
It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so
Male loser epidemic.
bad that it's honestly so pathetic at this point.
Pathetic. You're pathetic!
Now, I don't always talk about men's issues. No, sometimes I talk about politics, and sometimes I mix the two together. Now, I know a lot of you don't like
Pick who, pick when, pick what? Pick me.
You don't care about politics, but politics cares about you, and it will
It
enter your
does?
life no matter how hard you try to avoid it. But
It
thankfully, I
cares?
have the perfect app to help you navigate this difficult, confusing political landscape. So let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, Ground News, before we get into this video, shall we? Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers a fun and transparent way
looks
to read the news
good.
from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of the political bias, ownership, and headlines that helps you understand the full story and make sure you're getting both sides.
Wow,
One of my
wait.
favorite features from Ground News has to be the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by only one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how the CIA uncovered a Russiagate fraud, and right away we can see how it has been covered by 41 sources, and out of those 41 sources, 93% of them lean right, with only
Okay.
2 left-wing outlets reporting the story. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see just how political bias can affect the framing of a story. For example, this story about Zoran Mamdani winning the Democratic primary in New York. This left-leaning outlet says Zoran Mamdani's win just got a little sweeter. And meanwhile, the right-wing outlet says, meet Zoran Mamdani, the man who will ruin New York. As you can see, very different vibes. I've
Very
been using
different
Ground
vibes.
News since 2021 because I think it is so informative, so fun, and it helps me see how different stories are framed so differently, and I love it. I highly recommend it. It's one of the few apps that I wake up and just immediately check. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. High praise. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I
40%!
use to access all of their amazing features.
Guys,
This
that's
comes out to
literally
only, like,
almost
$5
half.
a month, which is like the price of a coffee. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code right there on screen or the link in the video description down there to subscribe to Ground News today. I feel like what they're doing is really important, especially right now, and it helps us approach the news in a more
literally
fair
almost
and
half.
balanced way. So thank you to Ground
40%
News
off.
for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad.
I didn't!
Right? Now,
Right.
let's get back to the video.
Right.
With all these issues
I
men
was
are
a good
facing, they
girl.
seem to be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die movement. Months ago, I covered how the Democratic Party was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump. And I was correct. Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic. Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working—
What? I know how to speak. Skibbity Riz.
Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their effort,
20
with donors
million!
and strategists holing up in luxury hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men to return to the party.
Is that a joke? $20 million? Just give me a measly like 10.
Ah yes, nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys. The plan? Codename Sam, or
Sam?
Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan. Promises to use the funds to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games, among other things. The Democratic Party—
wait, they're actually learning though.
It is evolving, just backwards.
I mean, it's ridiculous, but I mean, video games? That's a huge step.
is treating young men like exotic animals they're studying.
Oh!
Now, as you can see here—
Wait, I was gonna say something, but all my thoughts have completely gone out the window. Studying exotic animals.
is the young man in his natural habitat, in a dark, messy cave surrounded by Taco Bell wrappers and empty Mountain Dew bottles. Here is another young man, as you can see, also dwelling in a dark cave. This one has dyed his hair blue to scare off potential predators. Unfortunately, it also scares off potential mates, but moving on, here is another young man, we think. We're not quite sure about this one. We're still studying it. Listen, Democrats, instead of spending $20 million to do that stupid maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here. Shoe0nHead is a perfect example of why we need to repeal—
What's the 19th, chat? What is repeal the 19? What does that mean? Oh, women voting.
Greetings from Albania. I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh, shoo, mommy, milkies, 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 mommy, mommy, mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle.
Which one of you was this? Now, I know it was one of you guys. Which one of you was this?
Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
Since Trump scored big with young male voters last election, Democrats are spending $20 million to learn how to speak their language. I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's
But the stats don't bear that out now.
Oh, wow.
Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families.
Guys, I do not want to have kids. Now, let me just set the record straight. I do not want to. I am not part of them. Don't group me in.
But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
Okay, now this might be an unpopular opinion. Okay, maybe back in the olden days when you were supposed to like go to balls and dance with women and court for their love with $20 in your name and you were apparently the richest person in the town. Maybe back then it would be weird if you were still living in your mama's basement. But in this day and age where rent is like, it costs your firstborn, 2025 is not the time to be making fun of people for still living in their parents' homes.
Every night I was sitting on my couch writing the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men. This came on my TV on Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment about stay-at-home sons.
The rise
Men
of the
who
stay-at-home
still live at home.
sons! Guys! Alright, now, if you're a stay-at-home son, raise your hand, you're getting banned right now. And ban that guy!
Minutes after this aired, it went absolutely viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though
yippee.
everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down exactly why she was so egregiously wrong. So come join me in debunking the male loser epidemic. Because who else better equipped to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos? Hold on one second.
I know. Hold on, is she gonna say 3?
3 stupid.
3 stupid blonde bimbos and a bimbo cat VTuber.
On bimbos. Sorry. I felt left out. All right, let's
She
go.
looks good as a blonde.
I need my gamer fuel.
Use code ONLYLEAN on your gamer subs order for 10%
I do
off.
drink it. That one's for you, Tectone.
It's a major problem. And you know, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. But Laura, I gotta tell you, this is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. You know, that's a big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Does she even believe the words that are coming out of her mouth? She had to hold herself back from laughter with that.
But it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates and a lot of other problems in society. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air, meet people in real life. Let's just get back to basics.
I mean, maybe if like baby stuff didn't cost your entire life, maybe if it wasn't so expensive, do they not think for 1 second that it has nothing to do with men or women, but it has more to do with the cost of like living?
First of all, this stay-at-home son thing is not a real thing. It was a random throwaway, self-deprecating joke some contestant on Jeopardy said. One f***ing guy. Because I guess there's nothing else important going on that they could cover on the news. They literally made this into a fake phenomena so they can on young men. Meanwhile, Democrats are spending millions of dollars trying to win back young men. Oh no, the young men are leaving us in droves. How do we get them back? Don't worry, I got this. Hey, you fat, lazy, Cheeto dust-covered slobs. F*** you. Nice. Thanks. I love you. I love you too. Is the amount of young men living home with their parents increasing? Yes. Is it because they're lazy bums and just want to order DoorDash all day? No.
And also, DoorDash is expensive. It's not cheap to order out.
Well, they're not paying for DoorDash, Tommy. They're financing it.
They're
Come on,
financing
get with the times.
it.
There are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And
I want
that's
to
why
live
we
in
have
mama's
declining birth
basement.
rates. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air.
Have either of you tried applying for a job as a young man recently? Or tried buying a house on the salary of one of these young men? Have you experienced the dating market, been on the dating sites as a young man? No? Interesting, okay. Just wondering. Listen, I know the average age of a Fox News viewer is like 70 nowadays and you need to pander to them, but Tommy, you are like 2 years younger than me. You know this shit isn't true. Why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like a f***ing boomer? I'm sorry, I have no other word for this, but I hate this like generational pick-me shit. I was born in the wrong generation. I'm not like those other young people. And you know what? She's not like those other young people. Not all young people can afford a nice nose job and lip filler and get a cushy job on Fox News based entirely on merit, I'm sure. The main problem with this brain-dead boomer-ass take is not only is it cringe, but it's completely divorced from reality. This slop is specifically designed for people who paid like $5 for a f***ing house. And listen, not all boomers, okay? My parents are boomers, they are lovely people. A lot of you guys are boomers, but when the baby boomer generation sends its people, it is not sending their best. They are not sending you. They're sending people who have lots of problems. They're bringing the housing crisis. They're bringing wage stagnation. They're falling for AI-generated photos on Facebook. But some, I assume, are good people. But my god, I truly believe they do not understand how good they had it. They could support a family on a single income. A single income from a job that didn't require a college degree. Their leaders didn't prostitute away their economic future for some cheap plastic shit from China. They inherited the greatest economy known to man, and they pretend it's a paradise that they earned. I just don't understand, like, why don't boomers and spiritual boomers like Tommy Lauren see people struggling and go, wow, I wish I could fix this. They should have it better than I had it. And you wonder why so many millennials and zoomers don't want kids. I want to make the world a better place for my children. I want to make the world a better place for my children. Ugh. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you spoiled brat. Children. Not happening.
That's literally me with my cats. They're so cute.
Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but
I mean, if you have women like this, the pickings are slim for the men as well. Let's be honest.
feminization of men.
Young men are becoming lazy because they're becoming feminized. So they're becoming lazy because they act more like women? What did she mean by this, chat? I know there's like a decrease in testosterone or something happening, but men are moving right-wing.
Yeah, because isn't depression can cause like decrease I'm so sorry, Shu, this is not a good frame to stop on, my bad.
All over the world. Does that correlate with the feminization? Or, I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so maybe. But here's the thing, Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. None. In fact, all the data says the exact f***ing opposite. According to Pew Research, 64% of women younger than 50 say they just don't want to have children. No reason, they just don't want them. Versus 50% of men who say the same. Another study by Archbridge Institute shows the same. 63% of women without children said they have no desire to have a child, while only 50% of men said the same.
That's a lot.
For men, the most
Guys, that's 50% of the population of people under the age of 50? That's a lot of people.
factor was personal finance. But among women, the strongest reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence. Basically, they don't want to give up their brunch and mimosas. They've been ass-blasted with propaganda their whole lives, telling them their lives will be ruined, their bodies will be ruined, they'll never have fun again.
You're one of them? Listen, I can barely afford to keep myself alive, chat. How in the motherfucking heck am I going to afford to keep a baby alive too? Let's be so real.
Best decision I've ever made. 10/10, highly recommend, would do it again. But yes, this idea that men are the ones primarily responsible for the low birth rates is laughable. We're laughing over here. But honestly, it's not really women or men's fault.
Well, also, guys, I have... Okay. I have an issue. My eggs. The doctor told me that I have a fertility issue, okay?
There are a lot of factors that play into this. But Tommy, I really gotta ask, is it men or is it you?
This is gonna be the summer of canceling boys.
What?
All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on.
Everyone in chat
Almost
is canceled.
every single one of them have an issue
Unless you're a woman.
with men. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think, it might not be us. It might be you. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. They, quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
My friends are successful. Men don't give a shit about that. They'd marry a Walmart cashier if she was nice to them.
I think men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage, are usually not ready to be husbands and fathers.
That's a cultural issue. So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your point, I think it's a biological thing.
So let me get this straight. Men are all trash and won't commit.
But how would she know? Is she a biologist? How would she know it's a biological thing?
Won't leave mommy's basement, and they're destroying the birth rates. But also, young men are biologically incapable of commitment and being parents. What? But wait, there's more! She also believes women don't have to bring anything to the table.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. But I don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector and a provider.
I'm gonna say something. I think a really big mistake creating this manly man stereotype to begin with. Because men are allowed to be scared. Men are allowed to be sad.
If you think you
So
need to
nothing.
get
So you
something
got
out of
nothing.
it, I quite frankly don't consider you a
nothing.
real man.
Never before in history have women demanded so much.
That's crazy. That she doesn't consider you a real man if you're not a manly man. I would argue the opposite. That's weird behavior. Guys, you don't want women like that anyway.
Much and offered so little. So before we get deeper into this retarded, manufactured, stay-at-home son narrative, let's check the Facebook comments of this Fox News video because
Not
I am really
Facebook.
interested to see what, like,
Oh,
the typical Fox
God.
News viewer thinks about this.
Not
If the women are
Facebook.
anything like these two, I can hardly blame the men for staying home and not wanting to date them. Blame, blame, blame. These two women have a combined age of 93 and they have 0 children between both of them. You both have repugnant personality types, so listening to this was like male birth control to me. My goodness! Boomers are ruthless! Bunch of sissies. I served 6 years, 2 years in Southeast Asia after Vietnam was over. When I was 18, rent was $450 and I could afford to get my own place. She's so spot on. Nothing screams I'm a loser run from me than a guy living at home in his parents' house with his 12-year-old boy's bedroom decor at age of 30. Thank God we raised our sons to be men who grew up, lived on their own, found their soulmate, got married.
Guys, if you still live at home in your parents' house with your 12-year-old boy's bedroom decor at the age of 30, who cares? The right person will not care.
I was out the door at 18, worked on the assembly line at Dodge and in the Air Force at 19, never went back home. I can't relate to this. Yes, we know you people can't relate. We know. But the world has changed. Why can't you people get this through your heads? I will never let my sons stay home. I'm trying to push them out of the nest.
Oh my
Okay, I really gotta ask,
God.
is this an Anglo thing? Immediately kicking your kid out when they turn 18 years old? My Mediterranean mind cannot comprehend this. And honestly, why the f would a man leave home, leave his mother's cooking, for a woman who probably can't cook? Not me though. Personally, I can cook amazing homemade meals. I'll have
Me
you know I am
too.
a great trad wife.
Wow. I mean, Dino Nuggies go hard.
Now, unfortunately, Tommy Lauren wasn't the only one pushing this stupid lazy young men go get a job bullshit. Mike Johnson did it referencing 29-year-old men playing video games all day. Steve Scalise did it with 35-year-old men playing video games all day. And just the other night, I saw this.
I mean, God forbid men do. God forbid men do what they enjoy.
On my TV. Again.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention. The new dream job for young men, stay-at-home son. It's a phrase that's taken off since...
Yeah, my dream job. You know what? Me too. What? Me too. My dream job would also be a stay-at-home daughter. Guys, don't be ashamed, okay? Stay at home. It's expensive.
27-year-old Brendan Leo won $59,000 on Jeopardy, and he has a master's degree in political science, but he's unemployed. Grow up, get a job, get a wife, build a family.
Just get a wife, bro. Just get a job, bro.
Oh, get a job? Yeah. Just get a job? Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down into a job cannon and fire off into jobland where jobs grow on jobbies?
The term welfare queen must have fell out of fashion with Republicans because it seems even they know the approved safe demographic to go after now. Because it's very obvious what demographic they are talking about when they say young men in their basements playing video games. This just get a job lazy attitude is not surprising.
Also, most basements are literally massive. They're bigger than an apartment. So, guys, I don't know. This whole thing is like frustrating. I don't know, maybe because I'm a man.
But it's especially funny coming from Fox News of all places. Fox News that spends so much time yapping about immigrants taking American jobs. Fox News will talk
my
for
house doesn't have a
years
basement
about how
either.
Americans are being screwed out of the workforce. But when this issue manifests itself in Gen Z, suddenly it's a moral failure. The fact is, a lot of American jobs held by men are being lost to automation, offshoring, and yes, cheap foreign labor. Companies and billionaires would rather have cheap labor that they can essentially abuse, not pay fair wages to, just good little worker drones who won't unionize, rather than hire American workers for a living wage. The cheaper the labor they hire, the more money they make. I remember when Bernie Sanders called open borders a Koch brothers conspiracy.
Open borders?
No, that's a Koch brothers proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But
it
would make a lot of the global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Where'd that guy go? A lot of these jobs being taken are jobs traditionally held by men, like construction and factory jobs, manual labor work. But it's not just manual labor jobs, it's also the tech industry and business industry, which are careers also mainly held by men. There are many examples of this, such as Microsoft recently cutting thousands of American workers while requesting 14,000 more H-1B workers this year. Some of those job positions include data scientists, which are 70% men, software developers, which are 80% men, and electronic engineers, which are 90% men, and many more like that. Another example of this was Tesla, where roughly 15,000 American employees were fired in April 2024, and many were replaced with H-1B visa holders. On Twitter, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy tried to chalk this up to these immigrants just simply being the best and the brightest. Yeah, okay. You're paying them less for longer hours and more work, and they're willing to deal with it in order to stay in the country. It's coercive, exploitative, and, dare I say, not very America first. When conservatives confronted Elon Musk for this last year, he told somebody, and I quote, "Take a big step back and yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend." So when it comes to replacing American workers in manual labor with cheap foreign labor, it's deport, deport, deport. But when it comes to replacing his American workers with cheap foreign labor, it's yourself in the face. Interesting. There's also affirmative action and DEI, which are other things Fox News always pisses and shits about. But suddenly, when the conversation is about Gen Z men, the demographic of people who are victims of these things, suddenly these things just like don't exist anymore. Then it's, oh, young men are all just lazy. They just want to be in their parents' basement ordering DoorDash and playing video games. But it's not just the...
Some people do this, like they say things like this for the rage bait, right? It gets clicks, it gets views, and in turn, they make money. But I think there are genuinely people out there who believe that as well.
I am not beating the allegations with this one. The brown people are not taking your jobs, okay? It's not their fault. They're just cheaper. Aim upwards. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. It's the women, too. Many of the dyeing industries are male-dominated, while many of the growing industries are female-dominated, and stigma around these jobs being woman jobs usually stops men from working them. Women are overwhelmingly entering and excelling in college and the workforce, and they're more flexible about job position and pay, while young men usually hold out for higher-paying, higher-position jobs that will make them
those goddamn women ruin everything.
The breadwinner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed. Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes. But what's crazy is, women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 22 to 29 earned about 1,000 more annually than men.
And you know what, guys? Now, disclaimer, I am a woman, so I am very dumb. I think that there are some things that maybe men have a base. You know, in video games speak, you start out with base stats. So yes, in some things, men do start out with certain base stats that will make them have advantages to certain career paths more. I think. Dicks! Bruh, and they have dicks as well.
Reversing the traditional gender pay gap for this age group. In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center
How are you about to tie income with masculinity?
Showed that women under 30 out-earned men in many metropolitan areas, with median earnings at or above 100% of men's in cities like New York and Washington, D.C. That may not sound like a lot of money now, but it's a growing trend that has never been seen before. It's so bad that it's really starting to affect the dating world. American women have never been this resigned to staying single. They are responding to major demographic shifts, including huge and growing gender gaps in economic and educational attainment, political affiliation, and beliefs about what family should look like.
That's so toxic. That's so toxic. Guys, at the end of the day, if you love someone, you find that one person who's perfect for you, whatever, none of this will matter.
More women than men are attending college, buying houses, and focusing on their friendships and careers over dating and marriage. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. In 2024, 40% of American women ages 25 to 34 had a bachelor's degree, according to Pew, compared to 37% of men. A bachelor's degree increases net lifetime earnings by an estimated $1 million. Women are doing comparatively well when it comes to education in their early years in the labor force, and men are doing comparatively badly. Men's economic struggles seem to be having the biggest effect on women. without a college degree, whose marriage rates by 45 have plummeted to 52% for those born between 1930 and 1980, according to research by Cornell University. Young men without a degree are struggling so much as a group that there simply aren't enough with steady jobs and earnings for non-college women to date. Men are poor, women most affected. Modern women are no longer tied to their gender role. Birth control has freed them from the prison that is their biology, and they are making their own money, sometimes more than men. They can have it all, they can do anything, they can be anything. While at the same time, men are still expected to be the provider. And more importantly, many men still want to be the provider, but they can't. And women, though strong and independent, still want men to be the provider.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family.
That will go to war if need be. Like, war is scary. Would you go to war if need be, woman? No, you wouldn't. It's scary. Like, oh, guys, it's
make money.
Basically, men are like, we're worried we're not making enough money. And women are like, we're worried men are not making enough money. Hello class, I am Miss on Head. I am substituting.
My mama always taught me, always be independent on yourself. Never be dependent on nobody.
For your teacher today, she was arrested for molesting a 12-year-old boy. So today we are learning about the graph. This is the growth in productivity versus hourly compensation graph. And you can trace almost everything bad happening in society back to this graph. As you can see, productivity increased while compensation barely grew over the same time period. Notice they tracked very closely up until around 1972. Now, what happened around 1972?
Are those
class?
the baby
well, the
boomers?
top marginal tax rate was reduced from 70% in 1964 to 50% by 1981. The federal minimum wage began to stagnate. Income going to the 1% rose from 9% in the 60s to 16% in 2023. CEOs also went from making 20 times more than the average worker to making 350 times more than the average worker. Anything else? Anything else happen around 1972? Yes, Jimmy, that is correct. Women joined the workforce around this time, but we don't have to get into that today. The fact is, hard work no longer guarantees success, and the will to work is tied to the fruits of your labor.
I take back everything I say. Women should not work. Stay at home.
Young men are fed up today because 90% of that fruit is rotten. Now, is there some truth to modern young people being lazy? Sure, I guess. Every generation has lazy people. And we do basically live in late-stage mouse utopia, after all. Young people today are faced with two options: revolution or escapism. And a lot of them are choosing escapism. Many have basically given up, but it's not like they didn't try. They tried, and they found out the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, whether it's
What is a mouse utopia? What's that? I don't know what that is. Get back in the kitchen, my bad, guys. I'm a wandering dishwasher, okay?
Dating or the job market. And in a way, many young men are kind of choosing revolution. The never before seen large shift rightward in young men is a small revolution in a way. They're saying, this isn't working for me, this sucks, I hate this, I want something different. This is also manifesting on the Democrat side in general. The young men that are still voting left are voting further left. You saw this recently in New York City, where Zohran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist, won the Democratic primary. Young men are tired of the establishment, left and right. They're tired of the system, and they want to burn it down and start again. They want something that works for them, because this is not working for them.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with 4-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Huh. Fox News should hire that guy. There is an entire generation of fighting-aged men who are enraged and feel like they have nothing to live for. You should probably start caring. When they saw this airing on Fox News, they saw an angry woman nagging in their faces about how everything wrong in the world is their fault. An all too familiar thing they have been hearing for far too long. But unfortunately for Democrats, nobody under the age of 60 watches Fox News, so this is not really going to have an effect on young men whatsoever. So keep that $20 million. You might still need it. Unless we get dragged into another war in the Middle East. If we do get dragged into another war in the Middle East, young men might come running back to the Democratic Party. Maybe not. Maybe not even a George Bush II electric boogaloo will have men coming back to the Democratic Party.
I don't know anything about this,
Hopefully we don't find out. And as I'm editing this right now, a lot of young people, even the podcast bros, seem pretty upset about the Epstein thing, but we know Democrats won't take advantage of the situation in order to protect the Clintons, so maybe not even this will save them, but we'll see, I guess. Hold on one second. That's better.
She's brunette
So that
again.
was that video. What do you think of the male loser epidemic? Do you agree with Tommy
I
Lawrence?
think it
Is it all men's fault? Leave your comments below. I read them all. I am probably reading them right now as you type them. Wait, don't write that. No. You can't say that. No, it doesn't matter if it's with an A. If you like this video, please subscribe. And if you can, donate to me on Patreon or leave a little tip with a little tip jar down below. Or give it a little heart. It helps the channel and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys again soon with a new video. A new slop video.
A slop video! Let's go, slop! I love slop. Let's go! Well, guys, what do I think of the male loser epidemic? I don't think men are losers, period.